You're listening to The Upland Rookie, a podcast presented by Onyx Hunt, Final Rise, and Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. And welcome to episode 89, part 2 of my conversation with David Stover from Faith in the Point Kennels. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Upland Rookie Podcast. I'm your host, Will Larson, and this is part 2 of my conversation with David Stover. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1. We're going to dive back in here in just a second. But first, got to thank Onyx Hunt for sponsoring this podcast. Onyx Hunt. Guys, I've been using it for I don't know how long, honestly. I think they were out for a few years before I started using them. It has been a game changer. It is, I believe, a critical part of hunting, period. Period. Whether you hunt big game, elk, mule deer, bear, whatever, or you hunt upland birds like I do, or turkey, whatever it might be. Onyx Hunt helps you find and open up thousands upon thousands upon thousands of acres of publicly accessible land. Is awesome. It is such a great tool. An app right on your phone, on your iPad, computer, website. They also have an Apple CarPlay app now as well. So some integration right into your car. You can pull up the whole Onyx map, see all your waypoints, boundaries, all that good stuff through Onyx Hunt. You have to check it out if you're not on there yet. OnyxHunt.com. Promo code Rookie20 is going to save you 20% on your Onyx subscription today. So head on over there. Inukshuk Professional Dog Food. Inukshuk, I cannot say enough about them, their food, their quality, their customer service, and company. They've been incredible not only to work with through the sponsorship of the podcast, but it's a product I believe in. I want you guys to know every single product, every single company I work with is something that I personally use and personally believe in. And Inukshuk is no different. They're putting out some high quality dog food that I just feel really good about giving my dogs. They've been performing well. They look great. They feel great. They hunt hard, and they have the energy and nutrition to do that. We ask a lot of our dogs, and I want to feed them what I believe is going to be best for them. So if you have not checked out Inukshuk yet, check them out. Look for a trusted reseller in your area and give them a look. Also want to mention Final Rise. Final Rise rocking their premium upland gear, rocking their summit vest since the beginning. I have one of the original vests, maybe one of the first 100 vests. I'm not sure. I should ask Matt. Summit vest, guys. Oh, I just freaking love it. I'm looking at it right now. It's just freaking awesome. It's not the vest that had the dead quail in it. My Sidekick vest had the dead quail in it, and that's the one that stinks still. So I still need to wash that. No, I've not cleaned it yet, but I will. Matt sent me some instructions on how to wash it and clean it and care for it, so I will do that. But guys, Final Rise, they got some sweet gun cases, gloves, vests, some merch, some hoodies, all that good stuff. They're rocking and rolling over there. FinalRise.com. Head on over. All right, we're going to jump in. Hey, I got a question. This is a hot button topic, and I'm not just saying it because it's a hot button topic. I also forgot my hard seltzer. It's about 15 feet away from me right now, and should I go get it or should I leave it? I'll leave it. I'll keep rolling here. It's very tempting. I opened it a little bit ago, set down on my gun safe, and now it's out of reach. Anyways, I'm getting a little distracted here, but Garmin collars. I've been looking at the new collars they have, and they look pretty sweet. Oh, they look really sweet. I know they got the new Alpha unit out for the handheld, longer battery life, all that good stuff. So I have mini collars right now. They've been good. They haven't given me trouble, except one of them. So I'm considering making the switch to the bigger, newer collars. I'm a tech junkie. I love tech. I love gear. So I'm very tempted. Has anyone made the switch yet? Does anyone have experience with the new Garmin collars that launched a couple months ago? If so, how are they? Do you like them? Worth the investment? Let me know your thoughts. Also, if I go that route, let me know if you need a couple of mini collars. I got a couple Garmin TT15 minis. I'd be willing to part with, possibly. So anyways, if you have the new Garmin collar, let me know how it is. What do you like? What do you do not like? Again, I haven't done a ton of research yet, but from what I have seen, I am very curious on jumping up to the new collars they just released. So love me some Garmin. Other than that, I've gotten some questions, and I have not talked about it on the podcast yet, but I've gotten some questions on Macadoodle. Mac is no longer in our household. No. I ended up selling Mac to a buddy, an acquaintance of a friend. A friend of mine put me in touch with someone down in Arizona who really wanted Mac, and it was a good fit. He was looking for Mac, a dog like Mac out of his lines, and ended up parting ways with Mac. Mac was a great dog. He is doing phenomenal. Just talked with his new owner today, actually, and he's doing great. He's going through their training program really, really well. He's going to be somewhat of a guide dog down in Arizona for Arizona quail, and so I'm pumped of where he went, and it was just a personal decision. Really, just again, he's a great dog. Just where we are in life right now, I think I'm content with 2. So I went down in dogs, but he went to an incredible situation where he is going to thrive, and he's going to hunt his little heart out. So I'm pumped for him. I'm pumped for his new owner, who's getting to train him up already. And so it was, again, some people have feelings on this. Some people feel strongly. How could you part with a dog? Well, I did, and I feel great. So there is that. Everyone's got different feelings, opinions on it. Yes, dogs are part of our family. I love my dogs. I love Win. I love Gage. They are on my no-sell list. They've proven themselves to me that they are dogs that I want around. I'm not saying Mac was a bad dog in any way, more of a personal decision for us and our situation in our house and just lifestyle right now. That was the determining factor for him. But I also view hunting dogs, as somewhat of a, this is gonna sound harsh, brace yourself, somewhat of a tool. I think dogs have their place as friends and companions and whatever you want to call them. Some people call them their kids. I know, it's crazy. But I also view my dogs as a tool for a hobby that I really, really enjoy. I love bird hunting. I love exploring new areas on public land. I'm all about it. I think it's awesome. I will do it till the day I die. But also, I don't get too, I want to really emphasize the word too attached to my dogs. Okay. So that's just me. Everyone's going to feel different. Everyone's going to feel they have dogs who they would never sell. I feel differently. I have dogs that I don't get super attached to, and I think they'd be better off somewhere else. And that's me. That's my decision. And you may feel differently on it. But that's kind of where we are with Macadoodle. Again, he is in a great environment, hunting his heart out. And I think he's going to do really, really well this season coming up here down in Arizona. So that's Mac. Again, I've been fielding a couple questions on it. People are like, you don't talk about Mac anymore. Well, that's because he's not in our house anymore. So anyways, that is that, guys. That's really all I wanted to update you on. I have an announcement for you guys, but I can't talk about it just yet. I know. I'm sorry. I think after July 1st I can. So stay tuned. Actually got 2 big announcements. Yeah, got 2 coming your way. Coming up July 1st, I believe I can talk about both of those, so stay tuned. But until then, we're going to jump back into part 2 of my convo with David. So enjoy. I think that's super smart. One thing I was going to ask you, a couple training questions, if you don't mind. We're going to kind of go into some training things and really just I kind of want to pick your brain. What are some things you do? Of course, we're not saying this is the end all be all, but curious kind of how you do things. Do you do any clicker training with dogs in the kennel, or have you done anything with clicker training?
Yeah, we do early on. If we get especially if it's a pup out of our breeding where we're keeping to train for a period of time, like Mr. Cooper, who just left today, the 2 that we kept, and depending on the age and kind of where, if we get a young pup in to do a start in the field, depending on what the owners have done. Something I do try to do, either a clicker verbally or cue, is mark not just the positive stuff, but the negative stuff as well.
Hmm.
So a simple at, right, is, so if that dog knows, if my buddy Rocky's coming off the place board over here and I give him at, it's marking that as a
Sure.
hey, yeah, I don't move. But at the same time, when they're younger, when they do what you're supposed to, I'll mark that as well. We typically, pretty quickly will transition after they start to pick it up, transition from a clicker and, kind of move past that. But it is something that we have used and
Sure.
do use from time to time.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I was going to ask you about is, can you talk about, examples are always hard sometimes because you're going to, like you said, you've had dogs that are all over the spectrum, but let's just take an average dog that has a young pup, let's say, and you're going to introduce it to birds. What's kind of your process for introducing, let's take I don't know, 5-month-old, 6-month-old dog, introducing them to birds? What would be kind of your process of introing them to birds?
So for me, I like slow is steady. Slow is old army kind of stuff, right? And it's, take our time, do it slow. A lot of times, because I've seen it in the past, you get a dog in the field and, it's not sure what it's smelling for. It's just kind of running along and it finds something, a scent that it likes. Bird flushes in its face. And then the potential there to scare the bird. I've had it happen to our own pups.
Sure.
And seen it out of other dogs and heard of it a lot as well. So typically what I'll do is a very controlled in the yard. I'll, hobble a quail, put it under a kit cage, let the dog sniff around on it, play with it. I'll have it on a string and kind of let them chase it around. And then once they've kind of gotten okay with that, okay, it's the scent of a bird, let them mouth on it some, play with it. Then I'll transition over into an actual pigeon and, hold the dog kind of close proximity, loving it so it feels safe, secure, confident. And I'll kind of throw that bird up so they can, wing flush. Pigeons a little bigger than a quail.
Sure.
And usually you'll kind of see them kind of, hold on, what was that? And, so after a few times of that, then, you throw it and they're chasing it on down the way. And then, then after that, we'll transition over into the field. And I pretty much, from that point on, after I see that a dog has, that bird dog prey drive to them, I'll leave them on a check cord with a half hitch pretty much for the next several weeks in the field, because I want me to be able to have that positive control over them.
Sure.
And when they hit that scent cone, when they go on that point, I don't want them to rush in and break that point to go after that bird until I'm ready for it to.
Sure.
So kind of hold that back and maintain that prey drive too. Through doing that is just kind of where my philosophy on it,
yeah,
the way I've done it. But it doesn't always work that way. I had a dog in a while ago that, actually almost a year ago, I guess, the owner trains Malinois for police departments and tried to train his short hair the same way he does with the Malinois. Yeah, there was a high amount of stem that came from an e-collar because they were on just a walk in the park and the dog tried to chase a bird and he lit it up. And the dog was bird shy, terrible. And so I tried to figure out how can I do this and, tried the normal introductions like I just talked about. And the dog was just still just scared to death.
Yeah.
So it took 3 days of me taking that dog into my flight pen and stirring the quail and the pigeons up. And I'm like, never in my life did I ever think I would have a dog in my flight pen.
Sure.
But
you had to
worked.
Kind of overcome the fear side of it.
It did. And it, kind of, I think, just overwhelmed and desensitized to all of that. And next thing you know, that when it started trying to catch him and jump up and get him, I was like, okay, we're good. You can't come in here anymore.
Yeah.
And then,
kind of a one-time special deal.
Now. Yes.
I was like, don't tell any other dogs that we did this.
Yeah.
That's funny. Can you talk about kind of the wind direction, the importance of wind direction when you're training let's just say a young dog. I think a lot of people's thought is, and maybe you have different thoughts on this, but let's say you plant the bird up upwind and you walk the dog directly into it. Can you talk about, is that the best case to do? Is it best to come crosswind for the dog? Just talk a little bit more about the importance of wind direction.
Yeah, I think that one, it depends on the dog, depends on the scenario, and it's because that's what I do. It or what I do may not be the right answer, and there's
Sure.
probably 1,000 other people say, "No, he's wrong." For me, I don't necessarily, unless it's early on a pup and I'm trying to teach them what they're looking for. Very seldom will I ever try to put one straight into and walk it into a bird. I want it to be a natural hunting. I wanted them to get out and quarter, and I will kind of use the wind, it, to my benefit, depending on which direction it's coming from and the dog, what they're quartering and what their pattern looks like, if they're even quartering at all. Um, and I always like to try to put them into a crosswind if I'm moving away, to give them the ability to, as they're coming across, to kind of differentiate. Okay, hold on a minute, that was different.
Sure.
And kind of work back into that. If I'm doing, we train a lot for the NAVDA stuff too. NAVDA, especially the natural ability, the tracking phase. Now, that is, I'm real big on wind direction when we're, initially starting, and then as we progress through the training program for a tracking thing, then I will continually shift around to make the wind conditions more difficult for the dog to be able to track that bird.
Okay.
But early on, it's I think that right now, I told the gentleman that came pick up Mr. Cooper this morning that grass is tall, it's green right now, and it's just terrible hard for a dog to find one that holds the scent. Wind coming through it is taller, it's swirling. It makes it difficult on a young dog. But what I've seen is training them in that has, come fall time, those dogs know what they're looking for, and they can use the heck out of those noses. So I guess kind of like relate it back to my career is train hard and makes everything else easy. Kind of deal. So
absolutely. This is one thing I don't hear a ton about, or I haven't heard a ton about, at least talked about. Let's take a more seasoned dog who's been through a few seasons. Maybe they even have some awards, titles, whatever it might be. Are there things you still want to do with those dogs throughout the year to kind of keep them tuned up? Is planting pigeons kind of are certain dogs past that? So what do you do for some of your more seasoned dogs throughout the summer, especially to keep them kind of sharp?
Yeah, no, and that's a really great question. And we're, something I kind of harp on a lot for us. I say all the time that every interaction you have with the dog is the ability to either, reinforce or instill a good or a bad habit. And so for us, I mean, even just in the home, things that you do correlate into things we do in the field when it comes to steadiness per se. So for us, the dogs, they need to go out the back. Well, they'll sit there and wait, open the sliding glass door, wait. They're not going out until I release them, and then same process back in. When we feed them, I'll fill a bowl, set it in front of them, make them wait until I tell them, okay, hey, okay, you give them the release command, and then they can eat it. But I think those things build into, if you want a dog to retrieve a bird to you in your, non-firing hand in a good heel position every time, if you're summer months, you're out throwing a bumper for it, don't accept that dog dropping the bumper at your feet or, trying to play keep away from you or coming straight in and giving it to you. Those things I truly believe and feel help, solidify the things that we do in the field with them. So I think that just overall interactions in and around the house are huge to maintain that. And then throughout the summer, I think it is important, everybody said it a million times, birds make bird dogs, right? But I think there is still that exposure that's important. I know that I believe and know that our dogs and most dogs that I've seen come through here, they get smart on the pigeons. I've got dogs that'll hold like a rock, look like a champ on a pigeon, but put a quail in front of them and it's something completely different.
Sure.
They know that the pigeons, I'm not going to kill one over them. So they'll do what they're supposed to do.
Sure.
So I think that there's still benefit to them. Sure. All right, to use during the summer. But I also think that if you have the availability or means to get a hold of quail, that use them, but use them again properly. Don't let it be let me show you what my dog can do, in the backyard and kind of
use them
stuff.
responsibly, right?
Yes, there we go.
use the quail responsibly.
Yeah.
Will you just do maybe less reps with those more seasoned dogs, just to kind of give them something throughout the summer as far as bird work goes?
No, we do. We kind of dial it back. It's not. Well, I would like to say that, but it's really not. I actually do more training with our dogs through the summer just because we're also in the middle of test season.
Oh, sure.
And so trying to get them ready to go to the next test. July, there's typically a big break in NAVDA and AKC side of things. And then August, it'll hit the ground running again all the way through October. And then you're right into the hunting season.
Sure.
So no, we do run ours more in the training field a lot in the summertime than we do, winter, so to speak. But there is, a difference in the reps and what we're kind of doing, and a real focus on the steady piece of it. Really good opportunity to work some backing and honoring and that kind of stuff in a controlled environment.
Sure.
As opposed to, it's always a different monster when you get out in the field and you're actually chasing birds, especially wild birds.
Yeah.
Right. There's the ability to be able to control some of that to make sure that there's a training value is just not there.
Sure.
So try to replicate as much as we can out here in the field, to get ready for the test and then into the season.
Absolutely. Are you a believer in pigeon launchers or bird launchers for training birds? I know some people are for them, some people are against them. They have lots of feelings, lots of opinions. Where do you fall on the bird launcher debate?
They are a tool, and as with all tools, sometimes you need a sledgehammer, sometimes you need a ball peen, sometimes you need a flathead screwdriver, sometimes you need a Phillips, right? So I think that there's benefit to them. If used responsibly, right? Know your dog, know what you're trying to train. What is the outcome, the goal that you're looking for in that training session? And by all means, they are an awesome tool if used properly. But I have seen people launch them, dog's nose over top of it and they get hit by the launcher, and
Sure.
or even the noise alone for a young pup is enough to startle them, and then they correlate that fear from that noise and that pop
Sure.
to that bird. So I think that yes, we use them pretty often, various points in the training, whatnot, but also too there's also dogs and times when I won't even pull them out of the barn. I'll just leave them there, and that's what we're going to go with.
Yeah, love it, man. They are a tool. We can't stress that enough. I'm sure it's a tool. Some people love it, some people don't. It's do your thing. Do your thing. It's like, don't hate on other people just for using a tool they think works. So transitioning a little bit to kind of the trial side, testing side. What kind of led you down that road? I know you're pretty involved in some of the tests and trials and that. What kind of led you down that path of, because that's a whole nother side. There's the hunting, bird dogs, hunting. Then there's a trial world and the test world.
Yes.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole. What led you down there?
It is you're right, completely different. For me, it was kind of a couple different things. It was the ability to meet and learn from and kind of hang out with other bird dog lovers and other people that, work and or train with dogs. Another thing too was a way for us to validate what, our training methods and what we're doing with the dogs in the field. And then also to our early back in this conversation, where it's the ability for us to kind of prove that, hey, our dogs and our breeding are able to go out here and perform, under, judgment and
Sure.
being evaluated for what they're doing and how they're doing it and so forth, and that trainability there. So that's kind of what, the reason we decided to go with it. And we looked at, NAVDA versus AKC, and both sides, you've got a large population will do just NAVDA or just AKC.
Sure.
We want to do both. I think that when you start looking at all of the various, tests and trials that are out there, those two go together closer than pretty much any of the other ones do, because you're still looking for the steadiness. You're still looking for.
Are you talking about NAVDA and AKC hunt test?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 And so a lot of the judgment is the same on the field portion. Yeah. Now, do you get into the, especially UT side, you get into some waterfowl or whatnot.
Sure.
But if you're training for one, you might as well go ahead and you can train for both of them at the same time. In a lot of ways, they correlate so well.
Sure.
And so that was the thing. And then as we, look forward, as I mentioned, trying to, broaden that scope and aperture a little further again and kind of move towards the, field trialing horseback, foot kind of stuff, just to challenge ourselves and, hey, what else do I need to work on as a handler, as a trainer, as an owner to make myself and the dogs better? So.
Yeah. Will you client dogs who you're working, if it's their goal to go down those roads, will you test their dogs? Will you run their dogs in a hunt test or NAVDA event?
I sure will. Yes, sir. Yep. Actually, um, this year or last year, yeah, yes, 100%. Yes, we do. I've done a few, and I'm scheduled to do a few more this year, coming in August, September timeframe.
Okay.
Something I always offer. There's for our pups, our breeding, and it's a choice, right? And people love it, people hate it, whatever. We solely placed our dogs into hunting homes. And part of our deal is we put them out under a limited registration for the first 24 months, pending. And at 24 months, we'll lift that if they've gotten some health testing done and registered with OFA and run them in either AKC or NAVDA side as well. And then with that, we'll give a refund or rebate, whatever you want to call it, to kind of help offset some of the costs for entrance because they're not cheap.
No, they're not.
Kind of motivate them to do that. But it also too, we understand that it benefits us on the breeding side for us to have produced dogs that are titling and that are competing and so forth.
Sure.
So yeah, we definitely do. And for our pups, definitely we'd say, hey, look, if you can bring them back, I'll train them if you want. And if, you don't have the experience or, just want me to handle them in these hunt tests, I'm more than happy to do it for you.
Sure.
Set it up.
That's cool. And then I know you mentioned kind of starting to go down the horseback trial side with the AKC. Is that something you've done yet or are about to enter into? And I guess why the motivation for that side? Because that's pretty different, right, than a hunt test and a NAVDA.
Yeah, no, we have yet to step foot into the field. So it's kind of one of those nerves, and we spent a lot of time getting the horses and dogs together and working them, and really, really good place. I think that we've got a huge opportunity ahead of us, and
sure,
Lord willing, a good future. But it was just that it's different. And as we look through and get dogs titled out, and progress through the AKC sides, like, okay, well, what's next? What's over the horizon? What can we do to challenge the dogs? But also, too, we realized that we've got dogs that hunt closer, and we've worked with AKC NAVDA side. But, once we get on a horse, I need those dogs to range. So, again, that kind of led to another little growth in our string of dogs, because I wanted dogs that are going to be able to push out and run. So
yeah, did you have to, or will you start breeding differently for that? Thinking about bigger running, bigger ranging dogs, is that going to affect any of your breeding plans or lines that you look at?
Not at the moment. Potentially, down the road, never say never kind of deal. But at the moment, no. Yeah. I think that with our dogs that currently we've been running, again, it goes back to that switch, and you want them to know what they're supposed to be doing kind of deal.
Sure.
That, our white liver male Rocky that was out of our breeding, just a superstar. And he's a really good foot hunting range dog. But as soon as I get back up on that horse, he knows and he gets on out. Now he checks in pretty frequent, which I'm okay with. But also, too, I need him, as we progress through, him to understand that it's okay if I'm up here on this horse watching
go
you
for a while
out.
Yeah.
So we may switch over and kind of look at redoing some breeding stuff in the future. But as of right now, breeding as a whole is just not a huge thing for us. It's, we want to do it when we put dogs out, but there's a lot of time involved in it. And when we do it, we want it to be special, not just another litter, but a litter.
Yeah.
Because we invest in ultrasound machines, and we go the full nine when it comes to the breeding side of things. I'm checking heart rates on pups, and I'm and
it's an endeavor. I've heard
it
it is a true endeavor to do it well, like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Not just cranking out 4 or 5 litters a year, like some people will do, and that's fine, whatever. But I think it's smart to just make them special too. I mean, it sounds like you're gonna breed when you have the right pairing, the right
That's
dogs
it.
of what you're gonna produce. So
yeah.
kudos to you. Have you run in any NASHRA events, or have you kind of went down that path at all, or has that been an event you haven't done yet?
No, I haven't. And I don't know that we will. I'm actually a member of AMO Conservation Bird Dog Club here out in Indiana. And it's kind of where NASTR got its start, actually.
I know they're pretty big in the Midwest. I know that Indiana, Illinois area. So,
yeah. And so we're members out there. I don't run with them. To me, in the conversations that I've had with them, I think that just, and people refer to it, be it horseback field trial on foot, be it whatnot, we, without trying to demean it, right? It's all a game, right? Sure. It's what game are you going 100%. To play? And, for the NASTR, that game is just something different than us, especially as we're working on titling and steadiness, where that's a big piece.
Sure.
Getting out and I've got our stud that we out of our January litter, and he was also the stud from the litter we kept Rocky and Lily out of. He's got 2 NASTR Hall of Fame dogs in his pedigree. The female ran in NASTR some. We've got a national champion NASTR, second pedigree or generation back from our stud, who we owned as well. And she was a national champion for the NASTR. So we've got a lot of hopefully you think that stuff would carry forward and history within our pedigrees with it. But at this point, it's just not a game that I don't think it aligns with kind of what we're working on at the moment.
Sure. That makes sense. I got to ask, so the 2 pups you kept recently out of a breeding you did, correct?
Mm-hmm.
What made those 2 stand out to you? I'm always fascinated why people pick certain dogs. What stood out to those dogs?
This one is kind of a funny story. So we'd already decided we were going to keep a female out of it. So it ended up being, and this was our 2021 litter. 2021. So we were going to keep a female out. It ended up being a litter of 9, had 7 males and 2 females. So it was like, okay, and we'd done a contract with a family. They wanted to have pick of the litter.
Sure.
So we held true to it, and it was like, hey, whichever female you pick, we're taking the other one.
Sure.
And that's just how we ended up with her.
Okay.
But the day that those dogs whelped, there was just this little male, and I don't know what's the only puppy that we took a photo looking back. The only out of all those pups, there was a photo of me holding that pup right after he was whelped, right? And something about that little dude just kept pulling on my heartstrings. And I finally told Beth, I was like, this is the ugliest pup I've ever seen, but we've got to keep this dog. I can't let him go. She was like, I already knew you weren't going to let him go. And I call him ugly to this day. So, so many years in the Army, I like symmetry. I like things to be dress right dress. And he doesn't have he's got a liver head. He's ticked up. He has no patches, but he's got this blaze that comes down his nose, but it doesn't come down the middle. It kind of fades off to one side a little bit. So he's not symmetrical to me. He's ugly. I
so appreciate your honesty. I'm just glad you didn't give me the fluffy, like, the independence, and this is why,
no.
It's just like.
No, Rocky was like, somebody's got to love you. It might as well be me. but we joke and say that, from the beginning, once you realize it, that dog, it was like when I'd go to the whelping box to get one, because we're big about handling them, and especially in those first, several weeks. And that would be the one that whatever, he'd come over and greet me at the thing. And that's the one I just sit there in the evening and cuddle with. And so we joke that, he's my emotional support dog, but in all reality, I have become his emotional support human. Back when I was putting the uniform on and going to work every day, Beth would call, "Your dog has not stopped whining.
Oh, no.
He's crying." And if I was anywhere but with him, and to this day, he's gotten a little better about it recently, but he whines and cries. He has to be with me at all times. And I was like, "Well, he's quiet when I'm there." She's like, "Yeah, because you're there." So I was like, "You're just trying to talk trash about my dog. Leave him alone."
Poor Rocky. This is Rocky, right?
Yeah, Rocky.
Poor Rocky.
Poor Rocky.
Poor buddy.
Oh, knucklehead.
You have to send me a picture of his head later. I want to see this.
I'll shoot you one.
Unsymmetrical face of his.
But he's the only one that. So out all the dogs, he's the only one that he sleeps on the floor by my bed.
Yeah.
That we put the rest of them in crates during the night.
Sure.
And but he's the only one.
He gets permission outside.
He gets permission outside. He I don't know that he's ever spent a night in a crate.
Wow.
It's just
that's special.
He's my boy.
That's special. Oh man, that's awesome. You got kind of transition to the hunting side. You got any fall trips planned? Do you try to get out of state at all? What are your hunting plans? Or are you just busy with the rocking the kennel?
Yeah, no, we are definitely 100% this year trying to enjoy some freedom and some time that I have not had for 20 some years, and get out and do some hunting for sure. We're going to Michigan, do some grouse, and then headed out west. Which is real exciting. We're going back to October 27th, 28th, that last weekend of October. We've been asked to come and help put on with a training seminar back called Hunt the Highlands in Bath County, Virginia. So kind of close to where I'm from.
Oh, cool.
They've got there's a good bit of grouse hunting there. It's kind of like not one of those really spoken about or known about things, but really excited to that. Hopefully stick around for a little bit and hang out with family and chase some grouse there. And then trying to talk our friends from Inukshuk to come down and let me take them on a bird hunt out west somewhere. I said,
get Brian down here.
I'm trying. I was on the phone with him this last week. So I'm putting on a training seminar here in Indiana coming up, looking at September timeframe, and having those guys come down and do a nutrition and fueling piece. Oh, cool. I want the seminar to kind of be a holistic look. So, fueling and nutrition of dogs, and then the actual training piece. And then we've got a buddy, we're trying to work timing or not, who's an actual vet, come in and do some bird dog trauma type training. Cool. Yeah. And so kind of a holistic look of, how to feed your dog, how to train it, and how to care for it if something goes wrong in the field.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Kind of deal. So
that's something you're looking to put on in Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
And so I know Brian's going to be down here for that. And I may have to kidnap him and take him out west.
Bring him out west. I was going to say, bring him out west. If we can plan it in September when the Avalanche start, we'll take him to a hockey game, show him some good hockey, and
that would be awesome.
Do a little bird hunting.
That would be awesome.
He's only been following those Penguins in Pittsburgh, so we gotta change that.
We got to get him right.
Get him right. I'm talking to you. Indiana doesn't even have a hockey team, but
no. And I grew up. I have no loyalties when it comes to hockey.
Sure.
I'll talk trash to anybody.
Fair enough. Okay, yeah. Here, you just jump on the Avs bandwagon. There's plenty of room. We will accept you with open arms.
Hey, there we go.
You are one of us. No, that'd be fun. I've been rocking a Inukshuk for quite a while now. It's you're doing some resale stuff, right? Some of the Inukshuk dealer.
Yeah, we are.
That's awesome.
And I'm telling you what, we had been with another brand for years, and I was ordering a pallet of food every 6 weeks. I mean, we were just burning through it. The dogs were just on, twice a daily recommended feeding. I couldn't keep weight on them. Mm-hmm. And good buddy, he started Bellevue Kennels, but Kenton Bryant down in Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, yeah. He was like, Kenton. Hey, check this out. And have you tried this? He was like, I just put my dogs on it. I'm seeing really good results, because he was having the same problems that I was. Sure. And so we did a little test with it, and I mean, couldn't have asked for better results. And so switched the whole kennel over, and it is, I'm telling you, I wish I had known about it a lot sooner, a lot earlier, just for, the health, what we're seeing out of the dogs, recovery time in the field, the ability to keep weight on them. I can't say enough good about it. So we went ahead and, put all of our dogs on it, and I'm not willing to sell or get behind a product that we're not using ourselves.
Sure,
We don't fully believe in. And so, had a pallet sent down, so we're reselling it, and everybody I talk to and every dog that goes out of here, if it's one of ours or even training dogs, I've had people come in and it's like, let me, let's do a test.
Sure.
We'll put them on Annex while they're here. And every one of them have left. Yeah. Can I get a bag when I leave?
It's good stuff, man. I try not to hype it too much, but I know they're a sponsor of the podcast, which I'm stoked about, but it's, again, I was using it before they were a sponsor of the show, and it's just been a really quality food. I just switched mine over in summertime. I switched mine over to the 26-16. I got Brittany's summertime that works really well for them, and then come September, I put them back on the mid-level one. So, do you do something similar, or do you kind of keep them on one throughout the year?
We've got a dog on every formula right now except for the Marine 16. We've got a little field cocker that we run the Marine 25 on, and then we've got some that are on the 26-16, the 30-25, and the 32-32.
Okay. So you're all over the board.
We are.
Got it all.
And that's one of the things that I do like. If I've, so we've got a dog that I've entered into kind of a training cycle, so he's spending more time in the field than he was, and started seeing, okay, hey, you look like you're losing a little weight. So I bumped him up to 32-32, and, the ability to do that, and it's so seamless and take them back. It is, for the hunt test side, it's hot. We did one Mother's Day weekend. That they're long days. They're going to be burning the calories. So we went ahead and preemptively, the week before, we bumped them up 32-32, kept them on it through it, and then brought them back down to 30-20 or 30-25, and no ill effects. They performed well. And, I'm not having to supplement with the peanut butter and other things that I would do in the past to try to give them that energy and the calories that they need to get through a long weekend like that.
No, it's quality stuff. Like you're saying, it's, wish I knew about sooner, and it sounds like you're in the same boat, but it's quality food for sure. Well, David, I think we're going to start kind of wrapping this thing up. We're going to start turning the corner. I got a couple more questions for you as we bring this thing home. But one of the things I like to kind of ask everyone on here is kind of our staple question is, what's some advice you would give to a new hunter, someone new who's starting out? Maybe they got some young bird dogs. Maybe they're just getting started in this. Maybe they're getting started in the field trial game or the hunt test game or hunting, whatever it might be. What's some advice you would give someone out there?
Have fun is the first one, right? Don't get so serious about it that you allow it to steal the joy that having a dog in the field and working and spending that time in God's beautiful creation can be. Sure. Don't allow the going out and having to shoot your limit or to put birds in the bag. Don't let it become so about that you leave the field and you're feeling unrewarded or unfulfilled because of that.
Sure.
And I think, another, if I may, would just stay humble, right? Learn, because everybody out there has something. They can teach you something. If they've been in the field a day, 2 days, or 50 years, right? Go out there and ask questions, open mind, and just listen and learn. And, I think if you do those two things right there, you're setting yourself and your dog up, probably more importantly, for a long life of good times in the field and successful hunts. And, success can be measured by a multitude of different ways by every single individual.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, when you make it about going out there and enjoying it, having fun, and, been out there with that battle buddy that's going to love you like nobody else.
Sure.
That you're going to leave, successful at the end of that day.
Yeah, dude, that's great. We could end right there, and that'd be mic drop moment, man. Come on. All right, brother. We're gonna a couple rapid fire questions here. Kind of go through these. Just give me your kind of off the cuff answer. If I need to explain something a little more, I'll have you do that. But for you, David, what came first, the dog, the gun, or the bird?
I say the bird. The bird.
Okay.
I grew up, as I said, small game, big game hunting, and just that first, rise of that bird against the sun. It was just like, man, caught the bug. And then from there it was on. Guns were always a thing, but until the bird
Sure.
and the bird dog, then it didn't really get into the this over under or this side, but this and the shotgun side of things.
Sure.
But,
Absolutely.
so.
Love that. Yeah, those pheasants have a way of doing that. Even though they are hard, little things, man. They are smart, they are tough, but I think I know I remember seeing my first pheasant rise as well for the first flush on that, and it stands out. It's just they got some size to them, the color, they're beautiful. So yeah, I can see how that'd be a thing. What gun are you carrying into the field and why?
It depends on what we're hunting and where. I'd say, around here we do a lot of preserve hunts, so a lot of times I go with the 20 gauge. If I'm shooting the 20, I do a CZ Wing Shooter Elite. And a funny story about that one, since the anniversary, my wife and I are coming back, or is about to hit.
Nice.
Ended up with a matched pair of those.
Oh, nice. On accident or purpose?
I needed a new gun, but I couldn't justify buying myself a new gun with the anniversary coming down the way. So let me just get her one too.
Is that like is that free marriage advice right there?
That's it.
Okay.
Hey, find a woman who bird hunts and likes guns, and then just always buy two.
Just buy two.
Just buy two.
It's the best advice I've heard in a long time.
It'd save me.
Oh man.
And then if I'm hunting some pheasant or whatnot, I got a Beretta 687 Silver Pigeon 5 that I'll take 12 gauge and a little heavier, but I know that if they get up, it'll put them back down.
Sure. That's good, man. That's good. This one kind of goes. It's a new one. I'm actually going to throw in here. Pick one gauge you use for the rest of your life.
20 gauge.
20. Okay. I kind of got that vibe when we were talking. I was like, you're a 20 gauge guy. I don't know. Something about you.
It's just kind of, to me, it's that versatile gauge. I can go after just about anything with it. And, you have to be more selective. If pheasant, you got to be a little more selective on the shots.
You really do.
But that's all part of it.
Yeah, I've thrown up some Hail Marys in my days, and it's just kind of say a little prayer and be like, I hope that bird's not coming down.
Nope,
it's not happening. All right, favorite bird to hunt and why?
For me, I would say I'd have to go with quail.
Okay.
I truly would. Love the flush and the rise of a rooster, pheasant coming up and just that. But I think that the quail, there's nothing like you get into a big covey and that covey explosion coming up, and they'll zig when you think they're about to zag, and there's kind of a little difficulty to it. But I would say quail.
Okay, love it. This one I just threw in here for us. This is specifically for you. Pick between the two, NAVDA or AKC hunt tests. Which one are you gonna pick?
AKC.
AKC. Okay.
I've got some. I still have questions. We do the NAVDA, but I still have some questions and kind of like validity of some of the stuff, or what we call some of the stuff. But it's all great training.
Sure.
But I would have to go AKC.
Okay, love it. Just a couple more here. Your go-to snack on a hunting trip.
Whatever Beth packs me.
Surprise with whatever in the cooler.
Yeah, she's great. I can never leave here without a bunch of gummy snacks and Belvitas, and so I'd say typically, usually in an ammo pouch somewhere, I've got a Belvita and a gummy fruit snack that she's. So are you
saying Velveeta, girls. Like Velveeta cheese?
No, sorry, Belvita, the little breakfast.
Oh, so I thought you were saying Velveeta. I was like, wow, you're packing cheese slices.
No.
That would be a first. That would be a first.
Yeah. Although I was sitting in a tree stand for deer, and I have been known to pack some cheddar packed venison summer sausage.
Oh yeah, that's a different story. That's the bomb right there. That's awesome. One I just passed over here. Favorite breed of dog besides the ones you own personally?
Oy.
Yeah. Or have ever owned.
Or have ever owned. Well, there goes quite a few. I have something I have gotten grown a lot of respect for here last little bit, and I'll never admit it to his face, but our small English pointers. So they are, big running dogs, and that my buddy Darrell Smith, our argument is always the, long tail dogs versus short tail dogs. But
Sure.
I told him we did the Hunt the Highlands event last year together, and I told him, I was like, you ever tell somebody, I'm gonna have to come and whoop you. But I might could see a long tail dog in my future.
Yeah. Okay. Those pointers, man, there's something special about them. They are beautiful. Yeah. They are kind of the king of the big running dogs. So they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Last one, beverage of choice after a hunt.
For me, I drink about two things around here. It's either coffee or water.
There you go. There you go.
I guess depending on how long the day has been,
or how hot or how cold it is out.
That's it.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah, man. No, I don't drink a lot of soft drinks. I do typically for in the field if it's a earlier hunt or warm weather or whatnot. And I think maybe it was your episode with Borderland Upland.
Oh yeah,
I do keep Pedialyte around.
Okay, there you go.
Put some of that back. But
there you go. I just found some Pedialyte in my garage fridge the other day. I think my wife bought some for one of the kids for something. I was like, oh yeah, I remember that Pedialyte.
Yeah, I use it a lot.
Yeah, it's smart, man. It's smart. Or who is it? Who said Propel? You remember Propel?
Oh yeah,
I think they still make it a little bit. Who was it? Was it Cal Hardy maybe or someone else? They drink Propel. I'm like, that's still a thing? No, they made that still. It's
one of those big for a while.
I know.
You don't hear about.
You don't hear about it. Yeah, man. No. Well, David, this has been a blast, man. How can people follow along? I know you're putting out a lot of social media content, all that kind of good stuff. Do you have a website? How can people kind of follow along your journey?
Yeah, no, we appreciate that question. So we do. We've got a website we run, fitpointbirddogs.com. And then probably our biggest, I spend more time on the Instagram, fitpointbirddogs _ between the fit and the point. And then, social media Facebook as well, Faith and Point Bird Dogs.
Sure.
And, those are it. And I always say all the time, I feel like at times I need a secretary. I'm overrun with messages and I do the best I can to get back to people as soon as I can. But if anyone ever, has a question, something I've put out or, something about the dogs, about Inukshuk, about what we do or, about the Lord, I say all the time, I can talk your ear off about two things. That's the Lord and bird dogs. So
there you go.
Don't hesitate to reach out to us if you got a question or comment or anything else.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, David, thanks for your time, man. I loved kind of picking your brain on some training, getting to know your backstory, how you started Faith in the Point Bird Dogs, all that stuff, man. It's been a blast. Thanks for sitting down and doing this with us.
No, I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity. Like I said, I genuinely do appreciate it, and like I said, I've been looking forward to it for quite some time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, you were long overdue. You were long overdue. You've been on my short list for a long time, and I'm glad we could finally make it work. So thank you.
No, thank you.
Right,
like I said, and I will be working on Brian. We're gonna have to make a trip out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. That'd be fun. If you get out west, give me a holler. Would love to. If you're close enough to Colorado, I'd love to try to meet up with you. And
yeah, no, I definitely would. Real quick before we go, how far are you out from Colorado Springs area?
So I'm north of the Springs, probably an hour from the Springs. We're just south of Denver.
Shoot, I got my best buddy in the world is stationed out there at Colorado Springs. He was just here a couple weekends ago or whatnot. So
nice.
Definitely got a trip planned out to get him on some birds this fall.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, you let me know.
Definitely be out there for that.
I got definitely. I've gotten into the mountain blue grouse here in the last couple of years, and those have been a ton of fun. Definitely Kansas, Nebraska, all that good stuff. So we got some bird hunting out here. We'll love to get you on some.
We'll be that way.
All right, brother. Well, you take care. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Father's Day, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Happy
man.
Father's Day to you as well.
Thanks.
Yep.
Well, that is a wrap of episode 89 with David Stover from Faith in the Point Kennels. David, thank you so much, man. It was a blast catching up with you, getting to know your story more. Thanks for just sharing your perspective, sharing your faith as well, man. That's something I probably don't even talk about enough on this podcast, but thank you just for opening up about your kennel, your passion, and some of your values that you crafted when making this business and kennel. So thanks for that. Hey guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, head on over, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also support the podcast by joining and becoming a Patreon patron or Patreon Patreon member. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how you say it. I don't know the correct term, but you can support the podcast heading over there for as little as $5 a month. I have different tiers. I have a $5, $10 a month, and higher tier. If you want to support the podcast, if you've been enjoying it, would love for you to consider becoming a member. Not necessary though. If that's not you and you just want to leave a rating and review, or you want to share the podcast on social media, that's awesome. But if you do want to support the podcast in a financial way, head over to patreon.com/the Upland Rookie Podcast. All money goes back into the podcast, subscription fees, hosting fees, equipment, all that kind of stuff. Merch, stickers, goes into purchasing, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to consider becoming a member, head on over there. We greatly appreciate it. But again, you can support the podcast in different ways, sharing it on social media, leaving rating and reviews, all the kind of good stuff, or just telling your buddy about it. Just tell your friend. Say, hey, if you want to check out a podcast, head on over to Upland Rookie, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until then, go put some miles on those boots and follow your favorite bird dog. Take care.